We're going to call today the mirror talk. The mirror talk, why? Because there's sometimes that you go through certain seasons and it changes a lot, not just physically, but changes something in your mind or soul as well, right? And sometimes when you undergo those changes, it might be difficult to look into the mirror and just recognize the person you're seeing. A good example is after childbirth, especially, right? Postpartum is really not just physical, it's spiritual, it's emotional, and it can take a toll on not just your physical self, your mental state, but also your soul, really. So let's talk about how you go from dealing with all of that, but again, looking into your mirror and figuring out that, hey, I might not recognize the person I see in there, but I want to become the person I know I am meant to be. I am blessed and ready to receive more. Grateful for what's here, excited for what's on the way. Hey beautiful, welcome back to another episode of Elevate with Mama Cash, a space where style, story and soul come together to help you elevate into the woman you are becoming. I am Mama Cash, your host, and I will be taking you through today's journey. We're just going to call it the mirror talk. Stay tuned. Let's talk about the after the baby, after the burnout, after the breakup, after the diagnosis that nearly rocked your life, or after the surgery. How do I find myself back to the person, not just the person I used to be, but the person I want to be? So it's very easy for us to go through this life-changing moments and come out really confused or void, right? And postpartum is a good example because it's not just a physical thing, it's really mental, spiritual, energy shift, frequency changes, and then you come out being very confused. Now you're there, whether you're newborn, anything that comes to mind is really ensuring that your newborn has what they need, right? But don't forget about you. You're there too. Look into the mirror and see what you see. Even you might look into the mirror and not really love what you see at that point in time, but there's still someone there, right? So now let's talk about maybe dressing yourself after life changing or life rocking moments, right? I use postpartum because I think it's something that I've gone through. I have experience with it, and I know that maybe some other moms out there too have. But it can be something else, really, not just that. It could actually be a very tormenting breakup, right? You might go through a relationship that rocks you off of every single confidence that you once had, and then you come out confused, asking yourself, whoa, where do I go from here? So I love watching Mel Robinson's podcast videos on YouTube, and she has this concept about high-fiving yourself in the mirror. It might sound silly, but it's actually a very interesting concept that I really encourage many people to do. It might not be the actual physical high five, but speaking life into yourself is very important. Speaking life into your mind, soul is very important, but also speaking life into your clothes is as important as speaking life into your mind. Why do I say that? Because with Mel's high five concept, she says, well, get into the mirror, stand into a mirror every single day, look at that person in there and give them a high five. Give them a high five. Why? Because they showed up today. They showed up for themselves today, right? Reminding yourself or reconditioning your brain to actually understand that where you are right now might not be where you want to be, but you acknowledge how far you've come. It's a very strong concept. So I really encourage folks to do that. And especially when you're coming out from very live rocking events, you want to always ensure that you're in sync with not just your mind, your body, but also your soul. And that's an opportunity for you to sync up with your clothes too as well. Because before you became a mom, certain things might have made sense to you, but now you're in a different space. It's okay to have a rethink. So my own personal experience with the mirror talk was really recovering from my accident And that actually allowed me showing up for myself every day in front of the mirror. Like I mentioned, I would literally stand there with two unbalanced limbs, but on heels, and look into the mirror and tell myself, hey, I showed up today. Show up for yourself. It's really very important, right? And I use the ideology of high-fiving yourself by Mel Robinson, because that's really a very simple way but very effective way of actually speaking life into yourself back again. And how does this translate to clothes? So how will it translate to your personal style, right? Again, like we've been saying all through this podcast, your sense of style is really what resonates with your frequency. So think about it. If you're off your frequency, it automatically means that you're not going to have anything to anchor your actual style to. So what you want to ensure you do during this very tough moment is that find those things that bring in life or light back into your soul and anchor on them. Again, for me, during my accident, it was a pair of heels, even though I had broken limbs, right? But that allowed me to tell myself, hey, I'm still powerful, I'm still here, I'm choosing to show up for myself. And now I have a very special relationship with shoes, I always say. Well, not that you should, but again, ensuring that your style resonates with where your mind is really when you start shifting things and not just dressing for dressing or dressing to impress others. But you want to ensure that whoever you're dressing for should be you first, and then every other thing would follow. And please don't make the mistake of thinking style should be the last thing on my mind when I'm navigating a very tough life situation. You got it all wrong. You want to ensure that you're using the tools available to you to put yourself back together again and get on the bus. So if style is one of the things you can use, please use it, right? And I always say when people go through things, putting on clothes is just a matter of get what you need to put together and move through it. But they don't realize that it's actually a source of truth to self again, right? If you probably show up for yourself looking all stylishly put together for that day, it actually speaks to your mind and tells your mind that, well, I'm still here, right? So that's the job, right? Look into the mirror and tell yourself you're still here. And best believe once you speak that life into your life again, it will resonate through your clothes. One thing I want you to remember today is style is not just about impressing others, but more so about showing up for yourself. And if you choose to show up for yourself, you should show up for yourself in the most stylish way you know how to. So again, a slight reminder, when you think you're lost, get into the mirror, ask yourself where you are now, where you want to be, and then ensure that you evolve to get there. And of course, you can use your style to do that as well. If you are grounded in your mind, body, and soul, it's definitely going to show through your clothes. And to be honest, most of us tend to be complainers, right? We see something we don't like, we just grumble, and then it stays there, right? But we forget that the more you do that, the more you suck away your own energy and the energy of folks around you, and that prevents you from realigning with yourself. So what I want you to do for me today is, instead of going into your closet and just rambling about what you have in there, speak life into it, right? Go in there and say, well, what I have in here right now doesn't reflect me, but I think I know where I want to be. And maybe draw from your inspirations, your mood boards, which again can be aesthetically pleasing, but are not necessarily your style. So don't get stuck there. So what you want to do is speak life into yourself first, into your mind and into your soul as well. So that way it can translate into how you look on the exterior. It is really very important. There's nothing that you cook inside that's not going to reflect on the outside. If you're cooking in a lot of bitterness in there, in all honesty, it tends to show to outside. So you want to ensure that inside is as sweet as you need it to be, so that outside can reflect it. And when next you stand in front of a mirror and feel confused, just remind yourself you're still on a journey, and that's totally fine. So if you're just navigating life's challenges and wondering how to do that while staying true to your style, I'm here for you. Let me go down that path with you. Drop in and we can have a one-on-one session where we just understand where you are at now in your style journey and where you want to be. You don't have to do that by yourself. That's why you got Mama Kesh. drop in and we would have a great heart-to-heart chat to just figure out what works for you. Thank you for tuning in today's episode of Elevate with Mama Cash. If today struck a nerve, please go ahead and share it with friends, family. Until next time, I remain Mama Cash, your host.